Pretty good. Thanks. I just had to run some errands today, and I wasn't sure how long it's going to take. And then I was like, and then I got home, and I was like, great. It worked out well. I just plugged in my headphones, too. I got to say, the headphones, I think really makes a difference for, like, focus-wise. Just having your voice as the co-host in my head, like, close to my ears, as opposed to when it's coming out of the computer, sometimes it feels, like, easier to get distracted. I also think the audio is a little softer when it's through headphones, in a good way, and not as abrasive. I know that's not what I meant, but yeah, it's fine. I had to start the recording because Craig had a funny joke against me, so now I have to make sure he doesn't use it again on me. Also, Craig, I want to share. I probably would keep this in the show since we're building this live, building it in public. This show. I actually didn't know where to start our last show. You know, I very briefly looked at the first 6 or 10 minutes. I'm like, where do I start? And I think the reality is a third-party editor, that's one of the benefits, is they start whenever they think is the best place to start. It's sort of that argument where a lot of filmmakers don't have editors on set. Or, excuse me, the editors are not on set for film productions so that they pick the best take as opposed to picking the most expensive take. Yeah, you know, that last part too, we tried doing that because that one example I brought up with Colin and Samir, I haven't listened to a lot of shows as of late, but I noticed that they did the same exact thing. It just seems to be the smart thing to do because it's fresh, and going in, you only had a rough agenda of what was going to be said because you can't control what the guest says, right? And then it's probably harder to come back later without rereading a transcript, so it seems to be a good use of time to do the intro after. Let's try that today. Just because, like I said, our episode from the other day, I don't know where to start it, but I think part of it is, if you look at the episode before that, so 2 episodes from before this one, because I started playing around with some of the music, I started realizing, oh yeah, there's a million ways to edit this. You know, like, where do you want to bring the music in? Where do you want to have it go out? And it just got me thinking of, oh wow, like, this could get complex very quickly, and I wonder if there's ways for us to keep it non-complex. And maybe one way to do that is just to be, we might have the benefit, let me take a few steps back. We might have the benefit of starting more formally now because we've gotten, as I think we can both argue, the same side of the debate here. We've both gotten more comfortable with this. And I think part of that's due to the move to strictly audio. But I think maybe we could play around with like a formal, we're starting now. We're in the air. It's the radio show, the on-air sign just turned on, you know? That's our video. That's when if we go video. Oh yeah. And just kind of, also, there's probably something to be said about it gets you a little excited for the workday, right? You might not be feeling it, but it's like, hey man, I'm on air, and this is gonna stay on until I'm not on air. Also, how's my audio? I always forget on Adobe to go to the bottom right and check what microphone is connected, but is it roughly the same as last time? All right, sweet. Because once I start recording, I don't think I can change it. Right, it just mutes it. The button becomes a mute button. You lied to me. Sue me. From the zero money that this podcast makes. As of now, we'll see. Oh, I could jump into my problem that I shared with you on our reflection after last episode, and I could jump into that because I think it has a little bit to do with me spearheading the email newsletter side of things. So I could jump right into that if that's useful. Given that also, Craig, we haven't been recording our reflections the way we did in the beginning, so I'm wondering if we talked about this a little bit, but we sub in the intro in place of our reflection. Because then we'll spend less time talking to each other, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying for our system ops, like if we're talking for an extended period of time, it probably makes sense to record it, if that makes sense. But it just has been very unnatural to record the reflections because from our first 6 video episodes, I don't even know what to do with our reflections. Like, they're not in our podcast host. I didn't even upload them because I'm like, I don't even know how these chronologically fit. Whereas the episodes make a lot of sense. It's like we recorded the episode and then we stopped. And then a few days later, we recorded another one. Whereas the reflections are kind of bending the multiverse. They're discussing before, after, what are we doing in the future, and I don't really know what the flow is. I almost feel like we just release all our reflections as bonus eps, like down the line. Just be like, oh, we reflect on a bunch of stuff when we were unsure about things, and feel free to access it as bonus eps, or, no, I don't mean to beat a dead horse here, but go log into Patreon or go over to YouTube, because those were videos anyway. It's like, oh, we actually recorded videos of our first 6 episodes. You want to take a look here? Want to see when we were bad? You want to see when we were bad? All right, sweet. So I'll try to keep this pretty short and sweet, because I know in my reflection I was anything but. So those listening should know that I've been struggling with this like, what's up? We definitely should. I already forgot. I'm gonna come in guns blazing. Does that mean I should do the intro and then jump in, or you do the intro and then I jump in guns blazing? You know what? If that's all right with, well, if I stop this recording, it's not actually gonna give me, I would have to send you a new link to actually start fresh, because Adobe, actually no, my bad. No, yeah, we're 9 minutes in, so what I'll do is I'll just make a note, 9 minutes, and that'll be the new. So I'll stop now, and then I'll start fresh. So should I do like a 5, 4, 3, 2, and then when I press it, you'll see that it turns on, right? Yeah, I just thought it would get us hyped a little bit. I don't know. In 5, 4, 3, 2. That was a sweet intro. Me and Craig have been talking about, like, what's the best way to do intros, and Craig's been amazing about doing brief intros, which, as a listener, guys, you may think, like, oh, brief, you're cutting corners? Brief? Brevity wins, man. Brevity's the way to go. Holy God, because, we can definitely go the other way with our episodes, so we might as well keep our intros short. So that was actually sweet. So I shared with Craig in our reflection, which we did not record. Since we made the move to audio only, we actually haven't been recording our reflections, and we're gonna figure out if we want to record them or what have you. But I'm gonna share with you a little context. I share with Craig that I've just been so frustrated with setting up emails to custom domains, because we don't need Google Workspace for this, and I'm currently a Google Workspace user under another domain, and even though I'm the admin of my own goddamn user, I'm a super administrator. Doesn't that sound cool? Made up title. I can't make changes in my own admin, and it's incredibly frustrating to be paying for something that you're the head honcho of and you can't make changes. It's so frustrating. So I found a couple. What was that, Craig? I have before, but then I find that Google support is a little bit exhausting. Some support departments are just better. And in my experience with Google, I did find that they do use outsourced virtual assistants who have very thick accents, which do make it an issue when you're trying to communicate very technical stuff. The Google Workspace admin, go to admin.google.com. It's a nightmare in there. I mean, Craig will probably be better than me, just given that you know how to read through dense code and things of that nature, but like, I'm like, damn, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. Maybe the UI is off, I don't know. But, oh, is that right? Really? That's right. Yeah. Okay, I mean, I guess, now that you say it, the admin console doesn't even feel like the Google brand. Like, when I think of Google's webpage, that actually feels relatively simple. And you go to the waffle, or whatever you guys want to call it. I call it the waffle. You go to the waffle and you like want to go to YouTube or Gmail. Like, that's pretty simple. Or just type in the subdomain, like mail.google or like drive.google. Like, I usually just type in subdomains, and I kind of like that of Google. But when you go to the super administration feature, it's like a different color scheme. It's just whatever. But I'm gonna table this because I'm gonna let the Google thing go, because that's actually not the reason why I'm sharing this. I'm just sharing frustration around setting up custom domain emails. So I found a couple other options that make more sense because they provide email as opposed to needing all the storage space. Because me and Craig have storage elsewhere, so we don't need extra storage that we can't control. I want to bring this back to the company called Hey.com. Craig, are you familiar? And I think I mentioned it in our reflection when I was frustrated, right? So, Hey.com, reason why I'm bringing it up is, I believe, 3 reasons. Craig, you're gonna have to check and see if I come up with 3. So, 3 reasons are, 1 is their value proposition is very appealing. 2 is that the founder did a podcast with Tim Ferriss many a year ago, and I remember the episode. So I was more inclined to, go and try the guy's product. So just speaking to the power of content. And then 3 was I found Hey is a subsidiary of a bigger company called 37 Signals. And 37 Signals is also the founder of Basecamp. That's kind of their claim to fame. So I've never used Basecamp. Craig, have you? I think it's like the older Trello or the older Asana, but it's built, for small businesses. I'm not really sure. I've never used it. I just know that Basecamp is, on the way to Everest, right? You got to stop at Basecamp. Randy explains Basecamp to Craig. That's the name of the episode. And then we wrap up there. That's about it. So thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you never. Yeah, honestly, I had only heard about it because the Basecamp co-founder was on the Tim Ferriss show. I think he did an episode in, maybe it was 2018. I might be getting it mixed up with the Drew Houston episode, who's the founder of Dropbox. But the 3 reasons I had, it might have only been 2, but the first was that the value proposition of Hey is that Gmail and Microsoft Outlook and Apple Mail, they've all been the big players, but they haven't actually solved email deluge, like email overload. Like everyone talks about it. So Hey came about and attempted to do that, and it was interesting to find a lot of YouTube videos where people were kind of complaining about the product, but either they improved it since then or what have you. But I've been using it for the last 2 days, and I'm like, there's a lot of potential here. And Craig, there are 3 reasons. So the value proposition of Hey, I think, will help with my email deluge issue. Oh wow, there might be 4 reasons. Can I get through the 4? Okay, 90 seconds. I'm gonna get through the 4 reasons. 1, value proposition is that you have an email at Hey.com. Super easy to remember, and you're never having to mess with custom domains if you don't want to. Like, I realized that it's actually hard to get in touch with me because I don't even know what email is my main email. So for me, just have easier contact with people, especially for this show, Craig, to give people an easy way to reach out. That's one thing. So Hey, it's gonna help with that. 2 is that I remember the episode with the co-founder. So, he sold me his product years later with an episode from a while ago. So the staying power of podcast content in particular. And then the other part is that it comes with a blogging feature, which is, I think, really interesting. It's world.hey.com/whatever your username is. And how it works is you're able to blog and put it onto a web page that's already built for you just by sending an email to world@hey.com. And that web page also has a sign-up form for people to put in their email to be compliant with different regulations of anti-spam laws and stuff. People sign up there, and then you can choose to, when you send an email out, literally, you email world@hey.com, and your subscribers, slowly but surely, will start getting those emails if you choose. So I just thought, because I'm spearheading the email side of things, and I've used ConvertKit for my own as of late. I started about, 5 weeks ago. This seems way more appealing because it's with ConvertKit, it's not mobile friendly. There's no iOS app that I found. Whereas with Hey, I'm I could type out these newsletters from my phone and have that option. I know it's not the fastest way to type, but how many times are we just sitting in a doctor's office waiting for our, to get in or something? And it's just it'd be great to do something that I feel is creative or useful. And Jason Fried, the co-founder of Hey and 37 Signals and Basecamp, he put it great in his blog. His blog's at world.hey.com/Jason. And I already signed up. I already read an edition he sent out, and it's plain text, which is great. There's never any formatting issues, Craig, and I just feel there's a lot of potential there for us both, as individual bloggers, but also as a co-bloggers for the show. So Really happy I came across Hey again after I voiced my frustration with Craig. It got me to rethink. I'm like, there's a product out there that potentially could solve it. And then I was pleasantly surprised with the blogging part. And I was pleasantly surprised that Hey blocks any spy trackers that are on my emails. And the way they format emails, there's the IM box. They do it on purpose, IM box. And my favorite feature by them, Craig, doesn't even get under the surface, but they have a screening feature, Craig, which means anyone who emails you for the first time does not make it to your inbox. They go to the screener, and you have to screen them in or screen them out. And then in the future, you can always choose to screen them back in, which I'm like, that's amazing. Like, sometimes you just need like a snooze button. You know, it's like, I just can't be seeing your emails for a few months. Thank you. So I like it. It's a paid service, but once I actually was able to figure out like, oh wow, that would solve this, that would solve this. I'm like, I think it will be worth the money. I'm on the free trial right now, but to get access to the blogging, I need to pay. So I might just cut my trial short and start blogging. So far, I also like it too, Craig, because I've wanted to create a username that I can use across all platforms, and I figured this out about a month ago. Is @HeySpillane is available almost everywhere. Almost everywhere I looked, like 15 platforms. And so my email is heyspillane@hey.com. And I like the idea of going from the opposite of what domain do I want people to contact me on? Because I try to do it, Craig, to get people so I could track where people are coming from. But the reality is I'm not big enough yet to even care about that. I think I'd have to be bigger to have people like manage the tracking, manage the bit.lys and all that kind of stuff. Whereas I just want to make it easy to contact me. So it's like, heyspillane@hey.com, and then @heyspillane, anywhere you have a social media account. So that's kind of why I'm really excited about Hey, and I think it'll solve my email conundrum that I've been having the last so many. I mean, it's been on and off, but it's gotten worse. So I think it'll help, and it has some added benefits for our shared goals as well around the show. Exactly, and I gotta say, I love that screening feature. Dear God, what a awesome feature. It's actually more for the companies that reach out. But two different principles that Hey has is that one, if you want people to skip the screening, you can give them what's called a speakeasy code, and you say, when you email me, just have this in the subject, or have it in I forget if it's in the subject or have it in the body, and it'll skip my screener. It'll get right to me. And you can change that code whenever you want. So that's kind of a nice thing for people, but I'm more saying it for the companies. And then Hey has 3 categories: the inbox for really like important things that come through, and then they have the feed, which basically means stuff that comes in that you want to read in one feed later. You can read. You don't have to open each email individually. You just scroll it like LinkedIn. You scroll it like Twitter. You scroll it like social media if you want to read it. And then they have a paper trail option, which is like any receipts or anything that comes through, just throw it in paper trail, and then it'll send it to paper trail in the future, and it won't notify you if you don't want it to. So I think they've actually done a really good job of like getting to like the psychological pain, and I'm sure it's not perfect, but it seems like it'll be worth $100 a year. Well, it was interesting. I saw a YouTube video with a dude that had a phenomenal video quality. I thought it was really impressive, and they were not stoked about the $100 a year, the $99 a year. And this is before I took a look in the product. I was like, oh, like yeah, maybe it's it's the way he had good reasons. They were convincing, but then I got inside and I'm like, this is better than my other options. So, and Craig, the Otter AI that I forgot to unsubscribe to, but we're using it for our show now, so we have that's useful. That's the same. That was the same price. That was $100 for the year. I'm like, if I'm willing to spend $100 on something that I didn't really want to buy, I can spend $100 on something that actually might solve my problem. At minimum, at minimum, right? So like 365 divided by 100 is the minimum value, right? Whereas it's probably way more. It's probably like 10x more. Oh yeah, and now I just know, I'm glad I went through the email struggles. I'm sure it won't all be done, but I just love that now I have like, I can actually truly have one hub, and I can use what I learned about other stuff for like when I have a mini project, I know what domain service to use. If I just need a mini project to get a few users on board. Hey.com also has custom domain support, but I don't want to do it because it doesn't have the blogging feature with the custom domains, and I really want the blogging because it's like one web page of all your thoughts that you want to share for public consumption, which is the way Jason Fried put it, the co-founder, and I think that's exactly what I want, because it goes along with our show and it goes along with my longer term goals of just honestly just getting even more comfortable with sharing more thoughts for more public consumption. So that took way longer than I thought it was going to take, but fortunately we stayed under 20 minutes and didn't go longer than like we did on our reflection that no one will ever know about because we didn't record it. Yeah, that's a great summary. I think there's like 2 other added benefits, but I forgot them as I was listening to you. But there's a lot of benefits, and I think it comes down to the principle of I don't think I wanted to be that accessible for a while because when I was starting my business, I didn't think I wanted to, because you're starting your own thing, you get to set your own rules. But the more I listen to like big dog founders, they want to be as close to their customers and their prospective customers as possible because that's where you learn the most. I'm like, okay, that's worth having some easy way to contact because one of the benefits that I have now moving forward is that I would use a lot of aliases to be able to figure out where people messaged me from. But the reality is I can just always ask them, and they might not give me the 100% correct answer, but like most people will. And then people were actually getting confused, like which email to message me. Like they go to send me an email and like there's like several Randy emails that come up. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I hear you. Because it just auto saves the contact into their book. So at a certain point, they're just sending me an email like with CCing 5 other Randys that are me. So it would just, honestly, even if it was just a nightmare for people reaching out to me, but it was a nightmare for me. And I think I want to leave it on this one principle that I heard, I think yesterday. I heard somewhere. But the things that are easier for your customers are usually easier for you too. And I was like, I don't know if that's true, but it actually might be in more cases than not. I can give you one example that I heard is that there was a company that set up a national call center to be able to field, inquiries and, troubleshooting problems for whatever service they had. It ended up being a nightmare because not only were they spending a shit ton of money on this national call center, but the people that were calling had local problems that only local technicians or local, experts would even know how to solve. So once they realized that, they were able to not only solve the actual the problem for customers, but also save a shit ton of money, which is like, it's like, how do you even make that happen? Solve more problems for customers, save more money. Does that ever happen? Does that ever happen in business? Not enough, apparently. Or maybe the people who do it well are holding the secrets. Who knows? Who knows? Probably case by case, though. Like, that's a very contextual, national call center. Not every business has that, so. I don't have one. Yes! And then also, Craig, I'm kind of rolling with the ideas here. Something I thought of recently that's different from the way I used to think about it. Last episode or last reflection, I don't know. Basically, I'm saying to the audience, guys, I don't know if I said this on our last episode or if I said it on our unrecorded reflection. So that's why I'm saying this with context. Oh no, lost my train of thought. I haven't done that in a while, Craig. I haven't done that since like episode 4. What did you just say? What was a few words you just said? I got it. So I was thinking, there's a very difference between what you market and what you fulfill. Like, life insurance markets peace of mind, but it fulfills like liability insurance. And it got me to really think about the reality is I was trying to build a company that could work without me. And I still have a goal where it's very enticing to me to be able to build a company that does not require your constant involvement. Like, that's something that ultimately I want to do at least once, but I think after you do one, you got the itch to do another one. After a few, whether it's a few years or however long, that's very enticing to me. But I realized that what you market and what you fulfill are two different things. But what that means is that you can market to different customer segments and have the identical fulfillment method, but just to different people. So now I'm thinking that whatever my personal brand company becomes, all good, because then I can just target a different niche, a different market, and run paid ads. Or I'm thinking I would run paid ads, but still fulfill it with the shit I learned from being so close to the customer. So that's helped me think about just, own the personal brand, be founder led. You can always use what you learned from a fulfillment perspective and just target a new planet. If I'm targeting, Mars right now, I could target Jupiter on the next one. Yeah, Planet X? Is that Elon's planet then? Is that right? Is that how that works? Oh yeah. Twitter, baby. X, formerly known as Twitter. You've been seeing that everywhere. Oh my God. You know what? I'm not gonna say I knew that, but you're ringing a bell because he was part of the PayPal mafia and then kind of got, let go. Bought out, is that what they say? Yeah, bought out. That's probably the right way to say it. It's interesting. I think so. Yeah, I think incredibly uneven on speaking time today. So Otter AI will be like, great, Randy, you did the 80-20 rule, except you did 80 and Craig did 20. So wrapping up for today, let me try to wrap this one up while I'm just talking like a madman. So Craig's been, if you've listened up to this point, this is theoretically episode 13 of either, can I mention a few of our names, Craig? This is episode 13, allegedly, of CPR. The idea being that Craig and Randy are connected by podcasting. It's also kind of like some of these episodes are kind of like a shock to the system, or at least that's kind of how I view them, Craig. Because it's sort of like keeps us on our toes, keeps us in contact, because we're basically recording the phone calls we were going to have anyway. We've had phone calls very much in this aura, in this essence of like back and forth and just going off on things we're excited about, stuff like that. So, or things we're struggling about, like I did on the last reflection. But today was an episode where I took the mic today. I think partially because I wanted to prove that even though I had a serious struggle that I shared, I was basically venting with Craig on our reflection. And it's amazing what you can do in 36 hours. So, you find a mini solution and you start working it and you're like, wow, this is really promising. So I came in really high energy today because of that. And Craig was very helpful in letting me just kind of be there, and not kind of closing me out to that. So I really do appreciate that with Craig today. It's not the first time he's done that, but this is the most, in recent history, this is the most present memory of that. But I'm actually gonna finish this wrap up for today as we head into episode 14. I'm actually really curious what we're gonna talk about, because Craig and I have talked about when we used to do the video episodes, there wasn't a lot of connective tissue from one to the next. And then with audio, we kind of had, part 1, part 2, part 3, like it kind of flowed. But after this one, I don't think we're gonna talk too much about, hey, next time, Craig, maybe we'll talk about, what you're thinking on the TikTok front. Just so you guys know, Craig and I put a list of priorities in terms of where we were putting, where we thought was most interesting for promoting our content, promoting our show. And I had email near the top and Craig had TikTok higher than mine. So we decided to divide and conquer. So that whole hey conversation partially came from thinking about how to do email better, and I didn't know how to do it better myself. So came up with that. I think maybe next episode we could talk a little bit about what Craig's thinking about from a TikTok perspective, and maybe I think it very much could be like an 80-20, like Craig just kind of takes the wheel for us there, and I become a student again. So thanks for tuning in, guys. That wrap up was probably 4.5 minutes, so longest wrap up on the Eastern Seaboard. But thanks again, guys. We will see you in episode 14. It's hard to believe we're already at 14, not even counting our reflections, Craig. So I'm excited for the next one. Hopefully we do it sooner rather than later. Keep the momentum going. We gave one of our names today. Welcome to the CPR show. We also have another option, BYOP, which is either bring your own podcast or bring your own personality, something of that nature. Giving homage back to me and Craig meeting in college when BYOB was on the agenda very regularly. So, all right, thanks everyone. We'll talk to you next one. Wow, we still clocked in at 30. Nice. Yeah, thanks for letting me run with it today. I know you're very good about that, just like knowing when it's probably hard to kind of stop me. But I think today it was almost like it wasn't like I was venting today. It was more just like, I feel like I solved a problem and, wanted to share it. Yes, thanks, man. And yeah, it does. I think people do face it, and it's relevant for us, especially if I'm spearheading the email thing. Like, if I can't figure out my own email, how am I going to figure out our email? So it was a cool opportunity to figure out our email by revisiting what I've done, the missteps I've taken, getting too technical too early with all the domains. So, but also I lucked out that there was a product on the market that can solve like 90% of what I'm struggling with. Ooh, should we just wrap it today? We did a long reflection last time largely because of me. So do we just wrap it? I have one potential idea as like a question, like a prompting question for us to think about. But other than that, I don't really have anything else to share. But do you want to take the floor for a little bit, or just kind of punt until next time, and we'll just text about best recording time? So actually I had two things. One is that 2.5 men. I was thinking about branding, because I love thinking about branding. If people just paid me to brand their shit but not have to actually implement it, goddamn, that'd be a great job. Phenomenal job. Be a phenomenal job. Carlson. Are you going by Carlson? Is it Craig Calhoun Carlson? And is Calhoun your second, like, is it treating more like a middle name, or is it your first last name? Okay, so Lewis and Calhoun are basically like separate middle names. Almost like if someone had, like, Patrick's my confirmation name, right? It's Randall Maurice Patrick Spillane. So I kind of have that. Okay, I thought about this, and I'm like, Carlson with a K is actually, from what I understand, like, pretty unique, right? Like, Carlson, I think of like Tucker Carlson with a C, right? Doesn't he spell it with a C? So K, that's the Swedish or Nordic. What's the heritage? Jono. What was Jono's joke at the wedding? Yeah, but only when we say grace. I actually like that joke. People think it was. Some people were like, "Oh, they didn't laugh," and I was like, "I thought it was good." He ran it by me before, and I said, "I'll laugh." And I told him after. I said, "I never fake laugh," which I do, but it was good. I just thought, oh well, that part. Instead of Craig and Randy, what about like Carlson and Spillane? Because the K in Carlson is unique in itself. The only downside is that it's over 15 characters, which means it won't fit on Twitter, it won't fit on Snapchat. There's a few platforms that won't fit, but it'll fit on like the main ones. It'll fit on TikTok, it'll fit on Instagram and stuff like that. But the other thing is Craig, I've been having this weird thing about what name I want to go by. Because I kind of feel like I'm starting fresh, and most people know me as Randy, but I don't know if in the last couple months I started using Randall Spillane, partially because it's available on every platform, whereas Randy's not. Someone else is out there taking my name off handles, and it's 15 characters, so Randall Spillane I have on Twitter and all that, and I stayed away from Randall for a long time because when you Googled Randall, the first result was reckless endangerment. Because it was linked to my DUI, but it was someone else's. I wasn't the reckless endangerment. I was the DUI, but the whole SEO made me look like not cool. And I ran away from Randall in 2020 when I found that out. 18 months after I had the DUI. God damn it. I was like, did I not get hired? Like, people would Google my name and see this? Like, I had no idea, because like I had this weird thing, so I ran away from it, and now I'm like, maybe I should just own it. This was like 3 months ago, but now I'm like, I'll just use my last name, at Hey Spillane. There was another influencer guy, Entrepreneur Magazine guy, and I noticed all his platforms say at Hey his last name. I'm like, oh, let me go to thebrandsnag.com where you can test out handles, and I put at Hey Spillane, and I think everyone showed up like, oh, it's available. I was like, let's do that, because then now at least it lets me use my first name creatively from a branding perspective. Because the reality is, Craig, is I'll probably go by Randy, but when I get older and I want to open up my personal brand to be more personal, I can have my Randall brand, and also Randall I think could lend more to like, there's something more premium about the name Randall. Randy's more informal, more approachable, whereas Randall not only is harder to spell, but I feel like Randall could be like a company name, like Randall. So I kind of want to leave that room, but I still would be open to Craig and Randy. But I just thought that their last name with a K is just so damn unique. I'm like imagine just being on someone else's show. Oh, where do you find the show? Oh, search at Carlson and Randy. That's Carlson with a K. Like super easy, there. And I think that was mostly what I want to say. All right. Also, I asked ChatGPT, and even though I thought Craig and Randy sounds better, ChatGPT thought Randy and Craig sounded better. And I'm like, but I don't understand why. Because I thought, does it matter? I mean, I feel like we have a good relationship where it's not so much like who goes first. I just want it to sound like easier to remember. I don't know, like I think the E sound is like a smooth out. Like Colin and Samir, it's like a smooth out. Whereas like Samir and Colin, it feels hard. It feels like a hard stop. But anyways, using the last names gets us around that, having to answer that, because Carlson for sure should go first because it's the K. The K is unique for Carlson. Spillane with an S. You can't spell Spillane with a C. So, yeah, that's that. Can I start talking about this show on my personal accounts? I figured I might as well, and also I need some blogging content to write about. So I think I'll start with that. Even though my blog is gonna be Hey Spillane, just because that's what it is with hey.com. But maybe we can have like guest posts from you, and then if we really grow, maybe we make a Hey account. We spend $100 and it's like Carlson and Spillane at Hey, or whatever, and we do our own. Like maybe it turns into that. But I figured I'd just use my personal accounts. I make my Hey Spillane accounts and just start talking about what I'm learning, what I'm excited about, and then I can just like weave in video stuff, but I don't have to dwell on it. All right. Yeah. Well, it's one thing. I don't like to rush to solutions, but sometimes I feel like I'm too slow to get to solutions, so I decided to go faster this time. Yeah, it's true. That's true. Also, what do you think about the cadence of this show? Like, how many times a week should we set a goal to record? Or is it too early? We just go with like availability right now. Yeah, because we are ahead by 14 episodes. We haven't released anything, but we probably are gonna. Oh yeah, do we need to decide on how we do it, or can I just like make a decision? Can I just like go through the footage and be like, or the tape, and just be like, all right, releasing it all, it's live, or like, oh Craig, I scheduled them all out. Like, I don't even know how to discuss this together because. Sounds good. I also heard a phrase, standardize before you optimize, and I just feel like that's a helpful phrase. Like, make things standard before you try to, tweak things, because the tweaking is not going to have leverage until you have the audience, or until you have the capital, or, whatever. Like, 5% revenue for, a $1 billion company is way more than 5% revenue for a $100,000 company. Yeah, totally. Also, if it's helpful, we still have Vimeo for about 10 days. So I don't know if we haven't really been using it, so we don't really need it, but we did get a good deal on it. So I might go one more month, whatever, I'll see. But you're welcome to upload videos into Vimeo, because you still have team access to that from a year ago. So yeah, CLK Calhoun, I I would love to re-invite you, but they actually changed the pricing, so I don't think it lets me. So you're just gonna have to find in your Vimeo CLKCalhoun@gmail. You're gonna have to find mine. Because if I disconnect you, I don't think it'll let me reconnect you because they changed the pricing models. Yeah, I don't want to pull a plug on you too, you know. And okay, just to be clear, releasing all the episodes at once aligns with your goal of wanting to get reps in, right? Because that incentivizes that we can't, you know, take the foot off the gas. I think that's great because if we were doing video, I would push back on that. But because we're not doing video, I have no compelling reason to push back on that. I think that's a great point. We can use our everyday constraints and gamify it on the show because we have to learn different formats anyway. You know, we can't. I mean, we can. It's probably not in our best interest to always record the same length episode, right? Like, we're gonna find certain listeners are probably gonna like 5-minute episodes, and it's like, can we do that? Do we want to do that? All right, cool. Today's Wednesday. I'll try to just get them released sooner rather than later. I'll just shoot you a quick text when they're all available. I have the link as CPR right now. Any hard feelings on CPR or BYOP or, you know, any other ideas? Carlson and Spillane, I guess, could be the show too. Yeah. Also, the 3 letters is so much easier to remember. Like CPR, BYOP, EDB. So, okay. All right. I'm open to a lot of ideas. CPR, just because the first one doesn't mean it's the best one. It's anchoring bias. It's the first one we used. All right, cool, man. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for letting me talk a lot today, because it was nice for me to kind of get a little bit of that confidence that I can talk a lot and we can still get an episode under 30 minutes. Excuse me, at 30 minutes. Like, that was a kind of a nice confidence booster for me on this show. So I would love to, you know, take a little bit of backseat next time. Don't know how to actually structure that, but we could text about stuff that you might want to talk about, or just go with the flow, and maybe it is 50-50 next time. It's been working out to 55 me, 45 you. I looked at Otter, which is not bad, because it's really not bad if we're not planning it. Really not that bad. All right, thanks, man. We'll text. Yeah, you too. Tentatively, should we try to do tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? What days should we look at next? Okay, so right now we got that Monday, Wednesday, Friday cadence. Maybe that'll be it. Maybe that'll be the one. Maybe it'll be Tuesday, Thursday. Who knows? I like the 3 a week because I think that that's better practice than 2 a week. So. What do you mean? Like, when you're more tired when we do 2 days in a row, you mean? Yeah, it's that's a great point. Also, I think it's more fun when we're closer together. It's like you said, swing of things, and that kind of works out to be fun for us. All right, cool, man. Talk to you Friday. Well, I guess I'll text you before Friday, but you know, I'll audio you on Friday. All right, good stuff. Peace out.